MrBeast went from obese to Mr. I am a beast. He didn't talk about how much weight he dropped, but he definitely went from, being, mate, I would say 30-35% body fat. Some people have claimed 40%, like Greg Doucette. He said like 40% body fat, and some other people have followed suit with him. I would say 30 to 35, but not any kind of decent muscle mass. So now he's hired a coach that he tagged on Instagram. He's been lifting weights pretty much every day that he has needed to in his program. I don't think that's like lifting weights 7 days a week. I think he might do it 5 or 6 days a week, but he hasn't missed a day. And he's doing like 12,500 steps a day, sometimes 15,000 steps a day. And he's completely transformed his body. And why am I talking about MrBeast? Well, like most people know who he is. He's the world's biggest YouTuber. He's got a video like when he recreated Squid Games that's got over 400 million views. He's got over 100 million subscribers on YouTube. He's the most subscribed to YouTuber in the world. He's got, like multiple businesses. He's got like multiple channels as well. He's got MrBeast Philanthropy, MrBeast Gaming, MrBeast Reacts, his channel, and then he's got a backup channel. So he's got like 5 channels at least. He's got employees. He's got Feastables. He's got just a ton of Beast Burger. He's got a ton of things going on. And the reason I want to talk about this is like this guy is like the busiest person, most driven person, very close to Elon Musk like behavior, and a very successful kind of like driven guy, Steve Jobs type of vibe. And he still made time to transform his body. And I want to talk about like the commitments he's made. Like he's made it a non-negotiable. So there's another YouTuber called Iraq. He's created a contract with him that if they, like the first person that misses a day has to get a tattoo of the other person on their body. So he's got skin in the game. He's committed, which makes a big difference. And I think that that's what a lot of people don't do when they're trying to transform their body is they don't commit to it. Like, I do like bets. I'm not saying like you have to lose weight and like win money, but if you have a bet with your friend, like I'm going to lose this much weight or I'm going to go every day, like, cause sometimes losing a certain amount of weight isn't the best goal to have, like I'm going to lose 10 kilos in 10 weeks. Maybe that's not the best. Maybe it's, I'm going to go to the gym, 5 times a week for 10 weeks. Maybe that's good enough to get you to the gym. And like, if you do that, your husband's going to take you out to the nicest restaurant in Sydney, something like that. Like having a bit of skin in the game does help, a bit of commitment. That's why I like to have prizes in my 8-week challenges. That's why, it kind of adds like it's kind of like a dangling carrot at the end. I think that does make a big difference. And I talked about this in the YouTube video that I made, but often we have to have like a health scare or have like a determining like a turning point in our life to really commit to something. Like, to go back to what I said earlier, if you have a heart attack and then they're like, you have to train every day for at least 30 minutes. And that doesn't mean lifting weights. That means at least going for a 30-minute walk, a 30-minute run, a 30-minute weightlifting session, a 30-minute yoga session. So you're like, oh, damn, I do not want to leave this earth yet. I'm going to train every 30 minutes. It's a done deal. You're committed. Like, you don't need any bets because you could lose your life. That commitment takes you a long way. So whatever that is, find it. If you find that you're never really sticking to your goals, I feel like you haven't found the right drive. Sometimes all it takes is for you to just look at your kids and think, man, I wish I could get down there and play with them, but I can't because, I'm too overweight, I'm too immobile, I'm too unflexible, I get tired. Like, even just that might just like pump you up so much. You're like, man, I don't want my kid to grow up without having, moments on the playmat playing peekaboo. Like, maybe that is just like the strongest driving thing for you. And if it is, that's awesome. Like, use that as motivation to really like smash your goals. I think that would, like, that's such an awesome goal. Often a goal outside of yourself is a lot better. When you're doing it for someone else, like, this is why people do marathons for people when they're raising, like, say their best friend, and like, obviously this is terrible if this happens, but some people have friends and they get cancer and they need an operation and it costs a ton of money that they don't have. So they sign up to a marathon, or they like create their own event and they say, we're running for cancer, we're raising money for this person to have it. Like, when you have a goal that's outside of yourself, it's quite like, you're responsible for something else. When you have a responsibility for something else, you have to show up. If it's just like you're like, I want, 2 kilos of muscle in 6 months. If you don't do that, who's going to tell you off? No one. Who's going to keep you accountable? No one. Who's going to say, hey man, like, how much muscle have you built this week? No one. No one is, because you've only kept that deal to yourself. Even if you publicly tell people, they don't really care, because it's just concerning them. So try to figure out it's an extrinsic goal. It's a goal that's out there, maybe for someone else or for some event, or just try to think of a goal outside of yourself, because that can help. And obviously, this sounds quite hypocritical, because I coach people through their body transformations, and we're trying to lose X amount of kg, we're trying to like do this or do that, but they have a strong enough why to sign up for my coaching. So I know that they have a reason that's like, hey, I really want to make a change. So then we're focusing on numbers and stuff, because if I'm just a coach out there saying like, hey, what's your goal? And okay, yeah, that's a cool goal. All right, let's do it. And I'm just like this airy-fairy coach talking about goals and like, yeah, how do you feel? You feel good? Yeah, cool. Let's keep going. Like, I have to, like, people hire me for my expertise. So we're talking about numbers. We're talking about macros. We're talking about fiber. We're talking about how much steps we're doing and periodizing them for their goal. And it's very complex. But on a surface level, if you're not achieving goals, if you're not transforming your body, find a reason, a motivational drive that's going to stick. That's going to stick. Let's finish that sentence there. That's going to stick. Okay. Yeah, that's been an awesome thing for MrBeast. Like, he's probably dropped like 10 to 15% body fat, maybe even 20% body fat. Like, he's almost got abs. Not that means anything, but he's dropped significant. Like, he definitely didn't have abs in his before photo. He was like obese, and now he's like, I would say he's like lean. He doesn't have abs. He's not like shredded. Like, being shredded is like a different, like, you step up a notch when you're shredded. You have veins, you have abs. He's like lean, which is like such a nice thing to see, especially with such an influential dude. Like, he's got people following him everywhere. So yeah, hats off to him, and hopefully you're inspired by him. If he can do it, anyone can. One thing that he said that he does with like his steps that he has to do, he says that he takes phone calls while he's doing them. And I think this is a super key thing, because often we see like step targets and we're like, man, like, those steps are too high. Like, I can't get 12,500 steps. Okay, then do something else when you're doing it. So that, like, what's something monotonous that you do in your day where you're sitting on your ass? Okay, let's say you take Zoom calls. Instead of doing a Zoom call, just like standing there, sitting there, if possible, take your phone out for a walk and put on Zoom, and then just like walk while you do it. Maybe get a standing desk. That can help, just changing from standing to sitting. But try to walk a bit more. Try to get those steps in. I love taking phone calls and getting up and walking. It's second nature now. I like taking the stairs instead of the elevator. That's second nature now. I like taking, especially when you step on an escalator. I love continuing to walk, because a lot of people get to an escalator, they're like, and they just stand there. And it's like, mate, you're still on a piece of, you're still on a surface that can allow you to walk. Like, you don't have to stop. Like, keep walking. If you bus to work, then you can get off a stop early and then just continue to walk to your destination. That's another trick. There's many things that we can do. On the weekend, if you're going out to a cafe, maybe, just maybe, you don't go to a cafe. You go to the park for a picnic and you play with your kids, or you play with your friends that are there. You take a ball and you throw it around. There's many ways that we can get intentional about our physical activity. And just like MrBeast takes phone calls and talks to people or has business meetings, you can also find ways to intervene in your life to make a successful body transformation.